You guys, it's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Trading Week Recap, series I post every Friday where we reflect on the past trading week. We'll take a look at a few stocks and sectors that I believe define the week personally, and we'll take a look at a few relevant articles as well. As always, we'll go over each topic that we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us, of course, TradingView got a few charts to look at with you guys today. Kicking it off with the S&P 500 or the SPY. I'll let you guys know what I'm thinking about the equity indices in general. Moving on to the volatility, the VIX, the dollar, gold, silver, Bitcoin. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the market today, because of course we have a lot of crazy news. So as we always do with the Trading Week Recap videos, I will kick it off by reading for you guys the intro to the newsletter that I sent out to my subscription group this morning. All right, the reason I like doing this is because it perfectly sums up my thoughts on the general markets. So we'll kick it off with this per usual. Moving on from there, House passes $2.2 trillion Democratic coronavirus stimulus bill. So I want to say this right off the bat, you guys. This title sounds very positive, but this just means that the Democratic side has passed their version of the bill yet. Okay, it still has to pass through the right, which is to be completely honest, pretty unlikely. But we'll read through this together, and you guys can figure out what's going on here. All right, moving on. I mean, obviously, this is the biggest news, which we will save this general piece of news, Trump getting COVID, obviously, for tomorrow's Waves Weekly, where we will talk about the general situation a little bit more. But to relate it to the markets, Trump treatment thrusts Regeneron virus drug to center stage. So great news here for Regeneron. I'll let you guys know what this means for Regeneron and the rest of the biotech sector as well, because we love covering that COVID biotech sector. You guys know that. All right, so we'll talk that, and then closing it out with the articles. Tesla delivered a record 140,000 vehicles in Q3. Shares could plunge over 30% to $302. So it's been a while since we covered Tesla, you guys. I know this title does sound bearish. This is a more bearish-leaning article, but I want to give you guys the bull case in my mind too. If you guys have been watching for a while, you know that I've thought for a long time, ever since this rally got to astronomical proportions in Tesla, that Tesla has been overvalued. And again, it is historically overvalued, but I'll let you guys know why I think that it could not be overvalued, and that's because the definition of overvalued is changing as the market adapts, and we're entering a new phase of the market. Okay, so we'll talk about Tesla. We'll talk about the fact that they absolutely crushed deliveries. The stock did fall today, so we'll take a look at the stock there as well. But a lot to talk about in the EV sector right now as well. So a lot going on overall in the markets. I'm excited to talk to you guys about everything that we're covering today. Okay, so again, let's kick it off with this. Actually, you know what? Let's zoom in here a little bit more so we can read this a little bit easier. Okay, what's up, guys? I made the following adjustments to my portfolio. If you want to check them out, note the new and altered positions in the actual portfolio will be bold. So just start every newsletter out with that one. Today is an especially eventful day in the markets. There is even more uncertainty in the air. You know where I'm going. Trump has officially tested positive for COVID. This is a bummer, especially for someone of his age and stature. No matter which side you fall on, you should wish him a speedy recovery. Okay, so again, all jokes aside, all seriousness up front, this is very serious for a guy the age of Trump. I believe he's mid-70s. I'm not sure exactly how old he is. On the older side, on the more overweight side, I believe he is clinically, medically obese, whatever the terminology there is. So this is very serious, you guys. As from what I've seen so far, there's like minute-to-minute coverage on this. Obviously, this is the biggest news, not only in the US, but potentially in the world right now. So they're on top of this. All the news outlets are as on top of this as they possibly could be. And it seems like he's doing well right now. At the time of recording this, he is in a military hospital. And again, he is being treated, or he is being given a dose, just a sample with this Regeneron drug. Okay, so this is huge news there. And again, you guys, just to sum this up, no matter which side you fall on, you should always wish the best. You should always wish good health for others, and especially the president of your country. All right, so on the bright side of this, though, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said that this could change the dynamic of the stimulus deal. She feels that Trump falling ill will make the Republican Party wake the Republican Party up to how real this virus really is. I'm not saying that I agree with this or not, but it's positive news towards a successful agreement. I'll link the article below if you want to read it for yourself. So this isn't actually the article we're touching on today. We will cover this exact article, read through this with you guys in tomorrow's Waves Weekly. The one we're covering today is different, but this is an interesting article as well. The reason that I keep bringing up the stimulus package is because I truly believe that it's the single most important catalyst to the markets. Stimulus equals money printing, equals weaker dollar, equals stronger equities and assets. So again, you guys, this is what I've been saying for so long now. The more you print money, the more devalued the money you're printing ultimately becomes, because you're just printing it out of thin air. I know there's a lot more that goes into it than that, you guys. I know the arguments for both sides, for inflation and deflation, but we're definitely leaning, especially if this stimulus package is approved, which I do believe it will, not only for the good of the markets, but for the good of the U.S. people. it will ultimately result in a weaker dollar when you're talking about the financial markets. Okay, so stimulus equals money printing equals weaker dollar equals stronger equities and assets printed. Okay, from a technical perspective, the S&P 500 perfectly uses previous high prior to reversing as a bouncing point. This signals a higher low to me. Many people think the market is already priced in a stimulus, but I actually believe it hasn't. There's a lot of fear in the air right now. You can smell it. I believe that if we see stimulus, we could easily move up to that sign line that was once a support and use it as resistance. So again, TA 101, you guys, this line that was once a significant line of support could be used as another line of resistance. That would make perfect sense to me. And again, we will look at it a little more once we get to the actual charts. But as always, you guys, before we do get into it, I will ask you guys to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it, or if you're invested in any of the stocks or assets we're talking about today. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And of course, check out my complete portfolio and daily newsletter for a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio that I update every trading day. With every update, I also send an email newsletter explaining my thoughts. So again, you guys, I did send this out this morning. This is exactly what the email will look like when it arrives in your inbox, and I take a lot of pride in these. I really enjoy making these for you guys, and I truly appreciate the support, and I do my best to make this worth your money if you do choose to support me in this way. Okay, so first link in the description if you're interested. If not, no worries at all. The free trial does end at the end of this weekend, so that's just a little something. If you're thinking about doing it, try the free trial. If you don't like it, peace out. If you want to stick around, I appreciate you. Okay, that said, let's move on to the S&P. So this is the exact same chart you just saw in the newsletter, but S&P, I mean, you can see here, this is signaling to me, although the S&P was down today, this is signaling to me that this is just a higher low. Okay, so you see we bottomed out right here, moving our way up. The S&P did perfectly use this previous high that we set here prior to reversing as a point of support, so it did bounce right off that line. That signals to me that we're seeing a higher low right now. Okay, so that's good news right there. Just from a purely technical perspective, like obviously a very catastrophic piece of news could catalyze a significant downward movement, but this right now is looking to me pretty good. I'm pretty confident that we will, again, just because you see this. This is TA 101 right here. This is basics. A line that was once a very strong line of support will act as a new line of resistance. So I expect the S&P, and again, you guys remember, Nasdaq, the Dow, they all act very similarly. Obviously, the Nasdaq more tech weighted, the Dow more legacy player weighted. So they do act slightly differently, but the same general concepts apply across all three. I do believe we will see a pretty significant bounce because we still got a ways to go. We're currently sitting at 330. This bounce would bring us up to about 335. So nothing crazy, but it would lead to a significant little rally forward. Okay. And if we do get the stimulus package, I mean, I think that's easy money. I think if we get a stimulus, we can actually break past this and we'll probably hit new all-time highs. Because again, remember, weaker dollar equals stronger equities and assets. Moving on, let's take a look at the VIX quickly. So VIX, I haven't talked about this guy either. The VIX just isn't, it's lost so much of the appeal to me that it had a few weeks back. I wish it would load right now, but it's not. Come on, buddy. Okay, so sorry about that. Jeez, guys, it's my Wi-Fi right now. Okay, so the VIX is just is in a downtrend. So let's go to, you know what, you guys, let's actually go to the daily. Probably put less stress on this poor guy. Okay, so the daily on the VIX still in a significant downtrend, you guys. Best case scenario is we come up to retest this downtrend, this point of resistance that it's been setting here since mid-June. So it wouldn't surprise me if the markets get really turbulent to see the VIX spike up to these levels. But again, you guys, because I believe that we're getting a stimulus, it makes me bullish on everything that's not the dollar. And when equities do well, the VIX does not do well. So unless we see some carnage in the markets, which is possible as well, not completely discounting it, I do always think it's a good idea to hold some potential VIX calls in the case that we do see a downturn to hedge your positions. But again, you guys, I think it's pretty unlikely because I do personally think I'm optimistic towards a successful stimulus package. Let's move on. Okay, so gold, silver down right now. Remember, you guys, gold, silver, Bitcoin, all 24-hour markets. So these don't close like the equity markets do, which is why I really like these. And again, you guys, the US dollar, the DXY, is perfectly non-correlated, or is non-correlated. So it means that when the dollar goes up, gold, silver goes down. Bitcoin is showing more of a correlation to equities right now. So it makes sense that Bitcoin is a little down right now, but Bitcoin is actually looking all right. So I actually want to show you guys Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, actually, there was some crazy news released in regard to BitMEX. The US is really cracking down on BitMEX right now, which is the largest derivatives exchange in Bitcoin, which means that they allow people to trade on crazy margins like 50x, 100x margin, and almost 100% of the time, you guys, if you're not super experienced, if you trade on margin like that, especially at 50x, 100x, that should be illegal. I actually hate BitMEX. I think BitMEX, we will cover this more in the Waves Weekly tomorrow, but you guys, BitMEX trading on crazy margin like that, I think should be illegal. I think that should be completely illegal. I think it's toxic to whatever market it's involved in, and in this case, Bitcoin. Get rid of it. Kick it out. Get rid of it. Cancel it. Okay, so Bitcoin. Okay, so we're on daily candles here. Bitcoin, from a technical perspective, is following exactly what I expected it to. So exactly as I would expect it to. So you're seeing just like a perfect wedge right here. You're seeing a beautiful wedge play out. So over the coming days, this wedge will be reconciled over the coming days for sure. So the question is, will it break out to the upside or downside? I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. You guys know that from a fundamental perspective. Bitcoin, digital, absolutely scarce. As the government prints trillions of dollars, you want an absolutely scarce asset that can't be printed out of thin air, but that's easily transferable, and that's exactly the shoes that Bitcoin fills. So Bitcoin, I'm very bullish from a fundamental perspective. From a technical perspective as well, Bitcoin looks good. So I still think it's very likely, if we do break out of this, to at least test this downtrend. And actually, if we break out of this this wedge pattern, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Bitcoin come up and ultimately test this line, similar to the S&P. That was once a significant line of support, and use that as a resistance. That would bring us up to about, depending on where it hits, like an $11,800 Bitcoin. So we'll see if that happens. We'll see if that plays out. Again, you guys, the day of if this goes to the very end of this wedge, that would play out on October 10th. I feel like it'll play out more on the 6th or 7th. But we'll have to see. Regardless, Bitcoin looking exciting right now. Just looking at other cryptocurrencies, pretty flat. Nothing too exciting to talk about there. So let's move on to the stimulus package. So House passes $2.2 trillion Democratic coronavirus stimulus bill. The House passed a $2.2 trillion Democratic coronavirus stimulus plan on Thursday night, even as Democrats and the Trump administration struggled to strike a relief deal. The chamber approved the legislation in a 214 to 207 vote. 18 Democrats voted against the measure as lawmakers in competitive districts grow wary of the ongoing impasse over aid. The bill likely will not get through the Republican-held Senate, there it is, and become law. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has opposed the legislation, as his caucus resists spending trillions more on the federal response to the pandemic. So in the article we'll look at tomorrow, we'll actually look at why Trump getting this virus could be a blessing in disguise, could actually encourage the Republican Party to act a little more in favor of kind of having some empathy for this virus and the true potential of the negative impacts of this virus. All right, so again, we'll cover that tomorrow more, but just to give you guys an idea of what's going on right now, that's what it is. All right, moving on here. Let's do this, and we'll take a look at the biotech sector. All right, so Trump treatment thrusts Regeneron virus drug to center stage. Huge news for Regeneron. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals Inc. has found itself in the spotlight after President Donald Trump was treated with the company's experimental antibody treatment for COVID-19, just days after unveiling the promising preliminary trial results. The Tarrytown, New York-based biotech company said that it had provided a single high dose of the drug for Trump after receiving a compassionate use request from his doctor. Trump is at higher risk of severe COVID-19 complications due to his age and clinical obesity. So again, yeah, you guys, Trump is clinically obese. Remember that. And again, I want to say this again, you guys. No matter which side you fall on, you should never wish ill will, never wish especially ill health, especially to someone who's prone to more severe, like, you know, he's at higher risk. So just have some empathy for everyone, even if you don't like them. So that's that. Let's take a look at Regeneron and the rest of the biotech sector right now. See how that's responded to this. Moving down. All right, Regeneron. So this is, I actually haven't looked at this much. I believe Regeneron is a larger market. I'm sorry this is taking so freaking long to load, you guys. So Regeneron has a market cap of 7.7 billion. Regeneron has billion. No, wait, this is a Regeneron. My bad. Regeneron. Let's find this, you guys. Wow, come on, Wi-Fi. My apologies, guys. Goodness gracious. Okay, so I'm a little dyslexia right there. So let's take a look at Regeneron and wait another 20 minutes for this to load. Damn, you guys. My bad. I don't know what's going on right now. Wi-Fi is bugging out. Okay, so Regeneron, let's take a look at this market cap. Very high price stock. We're taking a look at a market cap of $60 billion. And I believe we are up. Does it still have the after hours? I think we're up like 5% after hours. It might not show it. Yeah, it's gone now. But we are up like 5% after hours on Regeneron. Let's zoom out here. So Regeneron has already done extremely good since these. So Regeneron's doing extremely good. So since January of this year, we were at 330. Regeneron peaked at a high of almost 660. So it doubled. It's up 100%. At one point, it has corrected significantly. So it wouldn't surprise me at all, actually, if this goes well. Say Trump sprouts another arm or something, that might be a bad sign. But I mean, if this goes well, it's looking pretty good for Regeneron right now. I think we could easily see Regeneron come back up to the 660 level to retest its previous highs if all goes well with Trump. If he gives it a green light, obviously if it works on him, he's going to be way more compassionate towards that company and prioritizing them in terms of mass distribution and giving them all the resources they need to expand their operations. So very good news for Regeneron. You can see here that. Okay, so that's at the bottom now. Let's go back up to some of these other biotechs. So the biotech sector was a little weird today. So you can see Sorrento down. I mean, you guys, because Sorrento works on a treatment and Regeneron also works on a treatment, this is objectively pretty bad news for Sorrento. So we will have to see what plays out with Sorrento. It could work the other way as well. Like, it brings a lot of hype, obviously, to a treatment for COVID. And Sorrento is, in my mind, a definitely good bet for a treatment, considering how small it is compared to Regeneron. Again, Regeneron is 30 times their size. And if Sorrento can come out with a successful treatment as well, it's very good for Sorrento. But we'll have to see how it plays out. It's kind of a toss-up in my mind right now. I don't know how this will affect sentiment around Sorrento. It was down today. So, I mean, right off the bat seems negative, but even like Moderna was down a little bit today. BioNTech, Vaxart, like these are all just kind of trading in... They're all trading solely off of technicals right now. So Moderna is technically still looking pretty good to me. I mean, there's not much to say here. We did just cover a bunch of these yesterday, so I'll save this. But we will just have to see how this plays out next week. I'm very interested to see what happens there. So that's that. Let's move on to this, and then we'll call it looking at the EV sector. Tesla delivered a record 140,000 vehicles in Q3. Shares could plunge over 30% to 302. So again, you guys, I will give you guys the bull and bear case. I want to let you guys know I'm not shorting Tesla anymore. I don't care if it goes up or down. I'll do my best to give an absolutely objective analysis on it. Tesla Inc., an American electric vehicle and clean energy company based in California, said on Friday that it produced just over 145,000 vehicles. So this is bad, in my opinion, and delivered a record 139,300. So right off the bat, I don't like this because this means overhead, and overhead with very high ticket items like a Tesla. A Tesla is not. It's not like how you have a bunch of. I mean, you have a bunch of like sticks of deodorant in inventory. These are Teslas, so these are very, very high ticket items that you don't want overhead. So this is an extra 5,000. If they had produced 140,000 and delivered 139,300, I would say that's very, very impressive inventory management. Okay, but the fact that they have an extra 5,000 just kind of sitting around seems like they were expecting a little more, and deliveries, although they beat expectations, actually disappointed their expectations a little bit. All right, so the manufacturer of high performance electric vehicles slightly beat the market consensus of 134,000 vehicle deliveries. Tesla delivered 124,000 units of its new Model Y Sport vehicle and Model 3 vehicles in a period as U.S. production recovered after being suspended from the end of March to early May due to the COVID-19 lockdown. That was below expectations of 128,000 Model 3 and Model Y vehicles combined, Reuters reported. So Model 3 and Model Y actually below expectations. Tesla shares closed flat at $450 on Thursday. The stock is also up over 400% so far this year. That's the most important thing to keep in mind. However, it plunged 5.6%. I believe it's down like a total of 8%-ish on the day to $423 in pre-market trading on Friday. Tesla stock forecast, 30 analysts forecast the average price in 12 months at $302 with a high forecast of $566, very large gap, and a low, even larger gap right here, and a low forecast of $19. I think that's impossible. The average price target represents a negative 32% decrease from the last price of $450. From those 30, 6 analysts rated a buy, 14 analysts rated a hold, and 10 rated a sell, according to tip ranks. All right, so I actually want to read this, and then I'll just give you guys kind of my general take. Analyst comment, because I agree with this. We're positive on Tesla's leadership across EVs, batteries, FSD, and see an opportunity for Tesla to further penetrate these key TAMs. Why not OW? At its current valuation, we believe the market has already discounted a large part of Tesla's growth potential. So this means that a lot of the growth potential that could actually happen is already priced into the stock. Further, competition in the EV market continues to intensify from traditional OEMs, startups, and megatech firms, said Adam Jonas, equity analyst at Morgan Stanley. We also continue to harbor concerns over the long-term efficacy of an auto business commercializing advanced tech that is economically sensitive within China. As Tesla expands production, they will likely need to raise more capital. While there is a strong appetite in the short term, it will dilute shareholders in the long run. So again, you guys keep in mind, just even if everything for Tesla plays out as ideally as it possibly could, it's already actually priced into the stock in terms of fair value. So kind of as I was saying earlier, you guys, there's the way that value is being determined in this market is completely different. We are in a market of story stocks. If you have a cool company, if you have a great brand, as I always say, brand matters more than it ever has in history. If you have a cool brand, if people resonate with your brand, if the people with capital, which are a lot of younger traders right now, a lot of retail Joes, a lot of Robinhood traders, if you have a cool brand, people want to take part, people want to own cool brands. So that's why brand matters more than ever. That's why Tesla is doing so damn good. And that's why Tesla, as a cult stock, I'm sorry to any of you who take offense to that, Tesla is straight up the definition of a cult stock. That's why Tesla, I think that's the bull case. The bull case is Tesla's a sick company. They're a great company. They have a great brand. They have a very provocative and enticing leader in Elon Musk. And it makes sense that it's doing well in this market environment. Okay, so let's take a look at Tesla. We'll take a look at the rest of the where are you guys? Up here. So Tesla down 7.38%. Maybe I think it's down a little more in after hours as well. So as you can see here, just from a bird's eye, this is actually. So Tesla is now technically in a downtrend because it was not able to take on its. Tesla. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Tesla come up and once again retest this area down here prior to moving back up. So if it comes down to retest this line of support, which it's already tested a few times, 1, 2, 3 successfully, this would bring Tesla down to about $390 in the short term. So if it hits it in the short term, we're looking at like a $390 Tesla prior to a move up. It wouldn't surprise. I don't think you guys, even though Tesla, in my personal opinion, again, I'm not sure even though I think Tesla is extremely overvalued with still, where's the PE? With still an 1100 price to earnings ratio. Keep in mind, you guys, standard is like 30, like normal is 30. They have it 1100. So the higher, the worse. That means it's extremely overvalued. Although I think it's extremely overvalued, I just think it's pretty. I think it's unreasonable at this point to think that Tesla will crash. I think that it could be volatile. I think that you could see some zigzags just going straight across the board for a while. But again, I think Tesla's earnings do come up on the sometime in October 20 something. I believe Tesla's earnings are. So keep an eye out for that, you guys. That will be a pivotal point. And again, you guys, keep in mind Tesla's been unprofitable for many of the recent quarters, and it just started becoming profitable this year. So that's important to keep in mind as well. And again, you guys, although I do think Tesla is a great company, I'm still, you couldn't pay me to touch this stock still. All right, so moving on, Nikola's actually seen kind of a bounce lately, but which makes sense because it got so absolutely crushed. God, the volatility on Nikola is insane. So this is a day trader's dream right here is Nikola. So you can see a low here of $16 and a high just on the first of this month of like $27. So you're seeing a lot of volatility in Nikola, although again, you guys just remember it fell straight off a cliff. It's been just getting absolutely pummeled after all of those. They're completely fraudulent. They're a straight Theranos company right now. So shout out to you guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you know what Theranos is. But this is definitely, I would not touch Nikola, not even as a trader, not even solely as a technical trader, in the near term future. I think Nikola could be, say they get acquired by like GM or something. They still have that deal with GM. So say GM just completely acquires their company for pennies and then they build it themselves and make that their kind of EV arm. That could be possible. I think that would make Nikola obviously way more valuable than it is now, because right now it's nothing and it's completely fraudulent. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, I'm not playing Nikola, for sure not. Workhorse is actually starting a downtrend. So 2 waves right here. We saw the first wave, bubble pops, capitulation. We saw the second wave, bubble pop. You see a little bounce here. I think this is, unless we get news of that deal with USPS, I think Workhorse is, is kind of done here, you guys. I think that the rally is over, especially considering that Workhorse was at $2.50 just in May of this year and rallied all the way up to $30. So you're looking at like a 10 to 15x right there. That is typical. When you see bubbles, that's typically what happens. Again, you guys, Workhorse is very promising as a company and their fundamentals are very promising, but just from a pure technical perspective, this looks like so many bubbles that I played in the past. Again, two wave 1, pop, capitulate, wave 2, pop, and then that's usually a wrap. So Workhorse, again, if they do sign that deal, if they do get a set in stone deal with USPS or a logistics company, very bullish for Workhorse. But until then, Workhorse, I would almost consider shorting Workhorse from a pure technical play perspective. Fundamentally, I think long term very bullish. Technically, very short term bearish on Workhorse personally. Again, could go either way. That's just my personal opinion. So NIO, XPEV, and Li, all Chinese auto manufacturers. I'm actually pretty bullish on these right now, especially with so much uncertainty going on in the U.S. So we're not going to take a look at these today, but I do see promise in these Chinese auto vehicle makers, especially at a time when there's so much international uncertainty. It's not only good to have exposure across sectors, but exposure across international plays like NIO, like XPeng, and like Li Automotive. Okay, so moving on, Hyliion actually just, so I'll cover Hyliion sometime next week. Hyliion is down significantly today, but the merger was successful. There is no longer SHL. That stock does not exist. They are now Hyliion. So that's cool. I don't yet have it on the watch list. I'm not currently playing that right now. Actually, it is. I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to say anything anymore. But I will cover that next week. So stay tuned for that. You guys just go down the line here. Again, you guys, biotech's not looking hot. Pretty much all tech was correcting today. DraftKings and Penn have been looking super promising, you guys. So DraftKings has been in my portfolio for a long time. That's like one of my untouchables, and it's been doing me very well. Overstock looking Overstock dip today as well. Maybe we'll cover that next week. I will definitely make a crypto convo. I have so many of these series that I kind of forget. So I will make a crypto convo next week, probably talking Riot, Overstock. We did in today's newsletter. We actually talked after we go down. Obviously, I'm not going to show you guys out of respect for my subscribers, but we went on to talk Moderna, Overstock, Riot, Bitcoin. I can't remember what else. But if you want like my daily take on a lot of these plays that we've talked about in the past, if you're interested in them specifically, again, you guys, I talk about so many of these on a day-to-day basis. So once again, you guys, check this out. First link in the description. Complete portfolio daily newsletter. Free trials still running until the end of this weekend. If you guys just want to dip your little toesies in there, and also I'm wearing this. I should have addressed this in the beginning, but this is the Waves hat. So check that out. We got the Waves hat in cursive. I mean, I should have been wearing these the whole time. I honestly don't know why I haven't been wearing these for the entirety. I've had these for so long. I've had this link in my bio for so long, and I don't plug it enough, and I should plug it more, and I'm going to start wearing these. I have another sick one right there in red. It's a different design that I'll wear in tomorrow's Waves Weekly. So that link is also down there, you guys. It's my Waves clothing collection. I did come from a design background. For those of you who have been around, you'd know that. But yeah, I love designing clothes, and I would love to give the Waves fam some merch. And it's priced. You guys, I do not profit significantly by any means on any of this. So I want you guys to know that. I want you guys, if you want this, for it to be very easily accessible. So go check that out if you're interested. All the links always in the description. I appreciate it, you guys. It really supports what I do, and it makes all this possible. Okay, so I appreciate you guys. As always, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of any of the plays we talked about today. Let me know what you think about Regeneron, about the biotech sector, about the whole Trump situation. Again, we'll talk about that more tomorrow, so probably save those comments for tomorrow. And yeah, let me know what you think about anything we talked about today. Always love learning from you guys. Always love talking shop. See you downstairs. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.